We'd also like to thank the Brookline Booksmith and the Attractive Group.
Lastly, we would also like to thank the Boston Globe and we'll get started now with calling up our first reader, Rick Kalea or Kaleja. Oh, and also all poets, please be mindful of the time as there are many other people reading as well. Thank you.
Hi. So I think I'm the only person other than Lynn, right, that has been to all 19 of these. And Allie, all 19 too? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I like poetry, but I don't write too many poems a year. But sometimes, so I was like a little worried this year I don't have anything. And then last week something happened that caused me to write a poem. I don't know if it's a poem, but it's something that has like lines and so it's based on the woman that I lived with for the last 30 years, who I'm married to. And I'm not. So she is an artist and an art teacher, and I'm always amazed how much she needs art, you know. So in this poem, I make so this is based on the rainiest day of the vacation we went in search of art, and so I make references to three famous poems: Claude Monet, who's the guy, Georgia O'Keeffe, and Paul Gauguin. There were three poets three artists, three painters that we like and that she likes. All right, so this is called "She Goes in Search of Beauty." Every so often, she needs to go in search of beauty, the way an addict searches for a fix, or the way a gambler seeks the sound of horses' hooves, or the spinning of a roulette wheel. Her need for beauty is that deep. It's not a need that's satisfied by gazing at a pristine lake, a May rainbow, or a cluster of daffodils. She craves the kind of beauty that only expert human hands can create. She craves the kind of beauty Claude Monet found in his garden, Georgia O'Keeffe found in the desert, and Paul Gauguin traveled to the ends of the earth to find, then wrestled with paint on canvas to make their version of beauty come alive. She does not need to own any of the magnificent objects she enjoys gazing at. She does not need to see the paintings she admires hang on her living room wall. She's content with just being allowed to look at them, to spend some quiet time in their presence. She needs to be reassured that no matter what happens in the world, whether Russia invades Ukraine, Assad is forced from power, or the polar ice caps continue to melt, that human beings will still be capable of creating beautiful things, and that the need to create will triumph over the urge to destroy. Thank you.
I'm Naomi. I'm a senior, and this poem is called First Kiss, Last Kiss. Who knew the first time I kissed you would be the last time I'd be kissed? I was half asleep. You were drunk. We barely knew each other's names. You traced the freckles on my face with your thumb like they were stars in a constellation. You probably didn't remember in the morning, but I couldn't forget. I was 15 when I first learned that a kiss was not a fairy tale, but a twisted mix of wonderful and terrifying. That was my first. You were my last, and I can't forget. I was born crying, or so I've been told. My first breath was squeezed in between tears. I wonder if my last breath will be the same. Maybe I know that the first time I see my child's face will be the last time I feel the slightest bit financially stable. And the last time I walk through the doors of my high school will be the first time I feel like an adult. I'm not afraid of the future. I'm afraid of the future becoming the past. You were once my now. I watched you become my then. I'll never have the time to make a phone call and treasure how amazing it is that each bit of this magic device once came from nature. It is only when we think about breathing that we forget how to breathe. Growing up, I had always wished I had been old enough to have remembered what it felt like to see the planes crash into the towers. Too young to feel sheer, undeniable terror. April 2013. My heart jumped when I heard 2 explosions near the marathon finish line. I wish I had bottled my emotions that day to store away for the days I am feeling numb. A moment passes, and it's gone. Like when I had surgery on my right ear, I remember the sounds of my screams, but I can't remember my pain. I want to cherish each human moment. I want to feel terror and fear before it's gone. Before the day my best friend becomes my best friend from high school. I want to feel love. I want to feel my heart melt. Like the day he texted me good morning. I want to feel my heart sliding like butter through my veins. He was my third, 2 years after my first. You were my last. I was born crying, and someday I'll know if I'm crying the day I kiss this world goodbye. Thank you.
The poet's sun was sinking in the west as his poem was rising with the waves. His son would buy the poet's book and laugh. The poet would grow famous and buy a car, but his son would take the train. The train was always there for him. The poet's sun was sinking in the west. He called and called, warranting no response. Communication would end between them. His son would sink down farther still as the poems lay beside the poet's bedside waiting. They formed a shield from the outside world. The poet's work sank into the west, and his poems were never remembered. To him it seemed a single day. His son was there, yet far away, like a day spent as a child. The shield had broken down long ago.
So, I'm Sophie. This doesn't really have a title. We take a testing class. My results. Realistic, 0. Investigative, 8. Artistic, 16. Social, 26. Enterprising, 3. Conventional, 0. They have decided to classify what I'll be in 6 categories. When I don't even know what class I'm supposed to go to next, which paper I have to pick up, which hand will betray me first, which thought will haunt me next, but a computer just determined my life and or what I want. Aren't I lucky? I spend most days thinking about, talking about, writing about. Most days I can't finish my sentences. But you see, you asked us yesterday why we decided with Real World Lit. That line stuck in my head the whole night. I want to feel. I want to feel it all. Happiness, sadness, empathy, loss, and mostly pain, because the thing about pain, it's meant to be felt. I want to learn about the now and feel in the now. I want a niece to mean it when he tells me to shake the dust, and I want Dean to take me in and screw me over. I want my pops to see the calluses that have formed just beneath my fingertips. But the thing about wanting is having the balls to go out and get it. That's what's going to help me out there, not the square root of 60. The real helps me with the realism. In this world filled with barriers and like suit of armors, my armor is made out of the real. But it's only the wounded who know how to heal. Error. Match not found.
This is called The View From Here Doesn't Help. I like the water pressure all the way up. I like knowing that if I plug my ears, then the rain is everywhere. And if my eyes are closed, then the world is gone. And there's no way of telling if the tears sledding down my burnt cheeks are salt water or soap water. I like it when the water shuts off. And the silence is so still, so full, so empty, But I hate the view. How the hills block out the beauty of the sunset in my eyes. How my stomach is an extra unnecessary curve existing solely to be in the way of who I am and who I want to be. Imperfections as far as my eyes can see. I am blinded by my imperfections. I hate how this view of myself is of everything I hate. And I hate that I hate it. There are parts that I love. I like my dimple, singular. I like my collarbones. I like my teeth. I like the inside of my forearms and of myself. But from the view up here, everything is twice as bad as I think it is. And 4 times as bad as it is because in reality, it's fine. I'm fine. I am beautiful. But sometimes I forget that I am beautiful because the sticky notes that I leave on my mirror to remind myself that I am beautiful are too often replaced by the ones permanently plastered on my body, telling me that there is too much of me to possibly be beautiful. But I should not be ashamed of my own thighs, and I will learn not to hate the view from here because I am beautiful, and there is nothing good about looking down on yourself.
It's called midnight. The darkness crashes down on you and makes a booming noise of fear. There are noises from the combination of silence and darkness. The moon should shine white, but it is so scared it surrounded itself in clouds. Each person reassures themselves, but they all fear the pitch black. They hear the scared dog howl, and they jump but can't see him. So they pray to be reborn in a time when the sun shines its rays of comfort.
So this poem is kind of written as like an intro to a book. I don't know if it's a poem or not, but whatever. This is called Post-Apocalyptic Survival Guide. When the bombs start crashing and the people start crying, you'll be standing on a ledge in the luxury of safety, with the full knowledge that because of buying that one piece of astounding literature, you have now secured a place of sanctity in the post-apocalyptic world that you live in. Knowing the age market that this book has the possibility of obtaining and the maturity of the generation that is to come, I'm going to make the astounding guess that you're around 15 years old and have found yourself stooped inside a bookshop or home without anything else better to do than curl around a book with a cooler name than Catcher in the Rye or To Kill a Mockingbird. Now, before you put down these messily binded pages, I ask you to carefully consider the risk in not obtaining this information. Okay. So maybe the new millennium crash didn't happen and the whole 2012 Mayan crisis didn't have the most ration. But it's a whole new year filled with plenty of opportunities for chemical disaster and disease control. So, sit tight, cross your legs, and curl up on your mattress with this book in hand, eyes ready to glaze pages upon pages of imaginary facts and unnecessary tips, carefully crafted for maximum profit and entertainment value. I know this intro's getting sort of long and you have places to go, because you're a busy teenager with a social life to upkeep and friends to please and a Facebook profile to update. But take it from me, this is totally worth reading, despite the tendency to rant upon words and stumble upon facts and perhaps the slightly higher amount of typos than your average novel, or maybe the flipped pages and incorrect page numbers. Forget that though. We're here, we've arrived, it was a long time coming, but you, young grasshopper, are finally ready to learn how to kick some zombie butt and save the world.
Sorry, this is long. A ticking clock. On the wall, the ticking clock never ending its continuous cycle. It brings joys into school children's hearts, undiscriminating. It keeps ticking. Tick, tock. Only 5 more hours,
35 more minutes, 23 more seconds, and then school ends. It marks the beginning of freedom and the end of responsibility. We depend on it, with its black rim, harmonious circle, and two hands, alerting us of when to stay and when to go. And life begins and ends with the ticking of the clock. We often attempt to fight time, yet still, we depend on that small tick-tock to help us move forward. We cheer for the clock. It is its days-long reward. Whooping with whistling and chipper footsteps, cheerful to go home. Tick-tock. The finale of a long workday and the dawn of another. An unlimited sequence with unforeseen results. Tick-tock. All of life passes through tick and tock and then tick again. Every second passing is a reminder, and each moment forever gone. Tick-tock. The ticking clock is not time. It is only a device, a unique tool, meant for measurement. And because time is without an end, we need the clock as our compass, our way to navigate. So if we hear that tick-tock, we'll know we still have time left on the clock.
This is called Baby Einstein. They strapped Baby Einstein to the front of a 45-inch 1080p plasma scarlet pyramid azure glow. Through osmosis became a locked genius behind pools that were once her eyes, which shook at the screens, failed her ABCs, graduated TMZ, found Facebook love, blessed serendipity. And then Baby Einstein became Miss Doe, consumed the balloon hoax's Real Wives, 15 minutes, which turned into years, now blogs to an audience of ghosts and mystery loves named Benny. They glued headphones to Baby Mozart, forced to hear sonata and concerto, whipped into violin and oboe lessons with jaded retirees shut in who scoffed jazz age, beatnik desiderata, while mom and personal trainer confided about yoga pants and daddy Blackberry fingered on a golf course, missed Halloween, and Baby Mozart became Skinny Mo, found minor threat in nitrous oxide, and now park bench sits breaking bread with starlings cursing the air. They duct taped Baby King. They duct taped Baby King James to the crib, fingered a carousel flung with basketballs, made to drive down class hallways, cross over state mandate exam, backdoor thesis paper while mom graveyard worked, left a second period ACL on a hardwood floor, was whispered lovingly to by a coach as he was carried through gymnasium doors, awarded top scorer NBA 2K14. Got seizured for his troubles, graduated Vegas Internet College, received facile diploma and cognac dreams, and Baby LeBron became Mr. What Could Have Been, scratching walls with a fingernail and a 6x10. Baby Capriati had a racket shine to her fingers, ran suicide from bassinet to boarding school, made to wear white skirts and polo horses while sweating inside a token-laced country club to the tune of whiplash grins and fake approbation, took money from an agent, bought some gold dust. And Baby Capriati became Baby Mama. Asked Baby Grandma to babysit one day, made for a tar paper shack outside a Tijuana juke joint, now discovers love in roadside motels. Every morning reads the Bibles through black tears. Because Baby Shakespeare couldn't read at 18 months, which led to doctors who gave tests that led to reports that had accommodations, which led to files, which have modifications. The suggested tutors of why can't you read yet, you're already 5, and the kid down the street already reads to himself, which led to more tests, which led to more doctors, which led to pills, which led to Mary Jane, which led to more pills, so now I can read and I just don't feel like it right now, which led to specialists, which led to more pills, which led to interventions and admissions and rehabilitations and cleansing sessions and setbacks. Finally, Baby Shakespeare became somnolent, Mr. One Day at a Time, reading 12-step hieroglyphics to teenagers with stone faces. An internet minute later, Baby Einstein came into the dawn of the pay-by-week studio, let her pupils undilate, her screen dark and glassy. She crushed up on her phone, stroked porcelain fingers across her pad, signalless. Didn't realize her iPhone was not an iPhone or her phone or his phone or you phone, but they phone. Ran down the street with her hands in her ears, her skin glinting in the brilliant sun, ululating, somebody help me, they've shut off the power.
This one is short, so don't think. This is how the poem starts. It starts with the soil underneath your fingernails, the nails in your lemonade. It starts with Mom breaking glass in the kitchen and sweeping it up with her socks, and with Dad being out washing the car. It starts with your nails against my back, tracing French along my spine like the dotted line you practiced cursive on. It keeps going. It goes with the pine needles bristling against you and my lips against yours. It goes with my lips lying to you. It goes like bed sheets, like the open suitcase you always have on the bedroom floor. It goes on like me craving you, like sweet, like sticky, like lemonade. This is how the poem ends. It ends with the quiet drops of fat water on my street, quenching the tree I tried to climb and broke my arm falling. It ends with me kissing up your legs and pulling you down. It ends with two sunflowers turning towards the light together, craning green necks across the yard. This is how the poem ends.
Laura is going to read.
So about a month ago, my grandfather died, and my teacher told me about the Poetry Fest, so I wrote a poem about my grandfather when he died and stuff, and I'm going to read it. A couple of things. My famous from Argentina, so some words will be in Spanish. Dios is goodbye, and abuelo is grandfather. Abuelo, don't go, I begged, tears streaking my face, creating a pool of pure loss beside his final resting place. He was still alive, but in a coma. Only a fool would give Zen the benefit of doubt. Never again would he be up and about. And so the tears trickled on, and the great sorrow would not be gone, and so my soul could not move on. Abuelo didn't make it. I was drowning in my tears. I forgot how to swim. My shot at life was slim. And then Abuelo's face came to me, and nothing ever looked the same to me, as he opened his mouth and spoke. Niño, life is only valuable because we die. The gates of heaven have opened for me, high in the sky. For I have played my part. As I gaze down on you, love fills my heart. It is time to move on, as dusk turns to dawn, and as the sun displays its first ray, you must be ready for the coming day. And so I dragged myself out of the ocean of despair, and as I did, it became a stream. I fell on my back and looked up to the sky, and I saw a cloud that looked like Abuelo, smiling and proud. I wanted Abuelo, who I couldn't have, yet with a new sadness that I shouldn't have, I put one foot ahead of the other, and repeated the motion, again and again. Whenever my cheeks were skimmed by the stream's spray, I remembered Abuelo telling me not to lose myself in yesterday. Sometimes I needed to slow down and count to 10, but I never stopped, and so I learned to walk again.
Next, Jerry Camille.
Lift it up closer. Lift it up closer, like this. We're good? Hold it up. Voice a little, this is a poem about, like, two couples in a dinner table. They're enjoying themselves. And I hope you like it. It has a little, what is it? Little twist at the end. So, as long as you get it, we're good. It's called Escargot at the Dinner Table. Why? Why should a snail suffer this pain of a snail's pace every day? Going around, minding its business, but always ends up like a fly, getting old too quick to enjoy what it has in life, only to be eaten by a giant, as its cousin, Sam the Slug, watches in horror. He plunges right into the giant's mouth, sees another world he's never seen before. As he grabs what's left of Sam and his horror-filled heart, he sees the breathtaking view of the man's cave. But before he gets sucked into it, he escapes through a cave. Perspective change. We're into the wife's point of view. Ew, John, you have a boogie.
So this is a poem that I wrote after my great aunt, who was mentally disturbed and very Catholic, died, and I had to go to her funeral, and afterwards I just didn't know what to make of it, so I wrote a sestina. It was a muddy morning late in March. The priest strolled out and we watched his robes dance. Inside its folds, no doubt, many secrets. Shifted hands to hands in a hush, prayer cards. All the quiet smiles out of place, waiting for this play to begin. It does. We're here to praise the end. It's only right to gather for this end to her in these dire days at the end of March. In her fragile mind, long gone crows and kittens played, and during prayer she watched her piano where Jesus danced. A few stories are shared and we cling to the cards. I don't want to know any more secrets. Maybe her whole life was a litany of sad secrets. Who knows where the stories of a life end? An unhappy but full life boiled down to cards. I guess the priest expects me to just march out of the church, but out there Jesus doesn't dance. My family can't be part of this play. We must kneel or sit, a game I've never played. Crackers and wine to me, well-kept secrets. This is a horribly intricate dance. So many steps, all for taking comfort in a life's end. Please rise, please sit, everyone sing. Marching orders new to me. Where did they all get cheat cards? Look at you, what a precious little card. Maybe I can fake it, pretend I know how to play, but maybe my heels click too loud when I march through the people. Do they know her secrets? The gathering is coming to an end. Relief after performing a long, tiresome dance. Finally, we're outside. To free myself, I dance evading puddles. I grasp their prayer card, an easy way to knit together an unraveled end. In the car with family, no more in a burdensome play. But for now, in my purse, I must hold her secrets, must pray they don't impede my forward march. We don't want to simply march, we want to dance. No place for her secrets on their small cards. No sense in a binding play to justify an end. Thank you.
Next up is Emma Gallion.
This is written for a dear friend of mine. It's called Message from a Mortal. Sweep the thick, hairy blanket of dust from atop my bookshelf and beneath your bedstand. Lick the freckles of chocolate from my body and the freckles of pigment from yours. You, born in the caverns beneath the mountain, and I atop its crest swathed in mist. Can't see crystals where diamonds grow. The hardest things bloom in the darkest of places. Stretched my stiff arms atop that peak. A golden light touched me, and with it I bore a soft, pulpy fruit with soft, boneless flesh. You lay beneath me, and as the night broke through at every dusky departure, I wept and recoiled, blossoms closing, tight, empty fists. And you sat still and silent through your eternal dream during which You dabbled between wake and slumber, you do recall, but you could never know for sure. Rooted there, truth flowing through all that keeps us latched to this ground, same ground, here we root. I shall never feel all of your dark home, for it is timeless, and you cannot make yourself feel all of the golden light, for it is brief and achingly finite. But with each dusk and dawn we feel our ground, the birth and death that I feel and sprout from directly, although the light never touches your jagged face. With each turning, each passing, you grow, and you are slow but sure, you are slow and small, but you are sure. And we sprout further to our heat, something lodged deep within the skin of the earth, and towards something so deeply removed from it. Our purpose is to reach for something we will not touch.
Yeah, bear with me, I'm really nervous. Okay.
Go, Arden.
What? Okay. Alright. I read books, I read articles, I read poems, but I cannot read you. Your eyes are like stones sitting firmly in your skull, but your mouth creates a painting with your words and lips that may only be compared to the Mona Lisa. I read your heartbeat, like a Morse code explanation that means nothing, but took years to figure out. With your arms outstretched, I'd do anything for them. I'd fall back down to be raised up again, but I cannot read you. You are not simply an open book spilling secrets and desires to whomever turns your pages. You are enigma, concealing your true form, obscuring it from love. But maybe this is you, peculiar you. I know I don't know what love is, because I do not know what you are. Thank you.
Hey guys, can you hear me back there? Okay. Okay, so this is about religion, so don't be offended. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Okay? Sorry. Okay. What is life? What is life? Why are we here? What is the goal? They said it was moksha, and heaven, and nirvana. But is that what you want? What if we just are? How crazy would that be? If the sun was just as yellow as a dandelion and the universe as endless as infinity. E equals mc squared. I get that. Proofs. I understand that. But Bibles and Qurans and Vedae? Perspective is everything. I stand on my 2 feet. I look out at the horizon before me. I feel the gravity below me. I understand the sheer force. The one pulling me to earth.
The poem doesn't exactly have a title, but yeah. Knowing you feels like throwing daisies into a volcano, twisting ourselves around the stars until we get dizzy and glide into the clouds. The clock goes past another minute, and the candles get blown out. You will sit in the dark, wishing that I was there, and I will travel looking for something more. We once again reunite and feel like a supernova. But it's not the paintings that keep us here, it's each other.
Next up is Michaela McCrenner.
Little Alice is afraid she's gone mad. Mr. Rabbit hopped over and said, "Look at what I have." In a small bottle labeled "Drink Me," a strange liquid appeared. As Alice drank it, she started to feel weird. Her vision became blurred, her speech became slurred, and Alice fell. When Alice took that drink and fell into the rabbit's hole, she didn't realize it was a journey to her soul.
When I close my eyes, I see thousands of shoes pounding the ground in perfect harmony. I imagine those shoes becoming mine, so I can run on the road without a clap in my ears or a shake in my feet. I wish I couldn't imagine my legs flying away without saying goodbye. The rhythm of 50,000 feet slamming the ground echoes in my ears, and as they cross the line, a tired smile crosses their sweat-drenched face. But that smile turns to fear, as the cheers from the sideline turn to screams. Among them is a veteran sitting in his wheelchair, watching the runners go by. He dreams of better days. His invisible right leg talks to him, saying, "Here's to Vietnam," as the Oriental guns whisper in his ears. The veteran cries to his friend, "Duck," as the gun finds his target. That was years ago, but his friend still talks to him, and the bombs still cry for him. I watch my father as he runs, pain plastered on his face and his lungs breathing in hope. But he stops, and I ask what's wrong, and he says he can't finish. And I ask why, and he says he doesn't know, just before the bombs blow. And I hear them go, and the old veteran hears the Oriental guns whispering in his ears as his left leg goes invisible too. And it says to him, "Here's to Boston."
My name is Josh. Quickly, for a entirely shameless plug, everyone here is reading good poems. And at the high school, we have a slam poetry team. Coincidence? I think not. So, if you know anyone, if you have, friends, relatives, siblings, anyone at the high school, or anyone going to be at the high school, please join the slam poetry team. It's a lot of fun.
Room 387 on Thursdays during X Block.
For those in the back, 387, Thursdays, X Block. Be there. This poem also has a twist at the end. Dear friend, I will always remember your sweet sugar on my lips at 2 a.m., and I won't forget how you kept me going, fueling my transgressions. You were the hair to help me sleep off my transgressions and toast to my successes, and I, like an addict, followed your deliciousness. I used you to feel full again, to stop the pain I felt in my stomach for lack of your kindness. You brought me smiles and dreaming, you brought me sunshine through the night, and I will never forget how you came with niacinamide and thiamine mononitrate, pyridoxine, hydrochloride, riboflavin, and folic acid. You made my head go crazy like a sailor with scurvy in a good way, and I don't want any citrus now that I'm with you. Oh, Captain, my captain, like Ahab, you are mighty and relentless. Like Hook, you scare me, and that makes me afraid of myself, afraid of what I'll do next with you in my system. Like Kirk, you excite me of wonderlands before my eyes. And oh, Captain, like Jack Sparrow, I would follow you to the ends of the earth in a cliched movie that I love every second of. But Captain, you're addicting. And Captain, after we play pirates on your great ship, sailing on whatever ocean will float our boat, I become sad again. Too many times you left me alone in my room. So, Captain, I will always harbor our dark love in some rocky cove within my heart where we can search for buried treasure in your boxes. But for now I apologize to you. I can eat no further into my own demise, so for both of our sakes, I am afraid. I am scared, but I'm also stronger, and you, crunchy and uncaring as always. Send to P.O. Box 049003, Chicago, Illinois, Captain Horatio Q. Crunch, Quaker Oats Company, a division of PepsiCo. P.S. I will never forget you. So stay crunchy, even in milk.
A girl named Cassie had the average American look, long brown hair that laid flat on her shoulders, Smile so wide that if you line a banana to her lips, each corner lined so perfectly, so simple, so perfect. Had the brains too, aced her way through middle school and acing her way through high school. Had many friends. Most would say that she's popular in school. Seems so perfect, right? So average. See, what you saw her as is what she wanted you to see her as. But what she really is nothing like you see her as. But what she really is hurt. I know what you're thinking. But how could she be hurt with a perfect smile and a perfect look? How could she be hurt with her being so beautiful? Hurt is not for her, but it's for that boy with bruised up arms and a cut up lip. It's for that girl wearing the same clothes that she wore every day. How can she be so hurt? How dare you? The fire that you see burning her eyes is not the youthful fire viewed as a good thing. That fire is lit by passion. Is not lit by passion to do good or to be good. That fire is lit by pain and suffering. The same pain that for the past 3 years been pulling and dragging her around, yanking at her hard, stabbing her with a lit torch, burning her insides, causing salty ears to drip down her face. The pain doesn't just act on its own. It is driven by the secret Cassie holds deep inside. The secret that's been desperately wanting to get out and to be released. Who is fighting against Cassie every day, screaming, "Let me out! Let me out!" But Cassie, knowing the consequences of releasing that secret, pushes it back and back, adding more chains to it. Cassie, knowing that each time that she pushes her secret back, the pain grows. But you'll never know the inner battle Cassie faces each day. Because Cassie has a way of shielding that pain. Cassie, aware of the society around her, where everything and everyone is judged. Every turn and every movement, every sound is examined by society. Society who longs for perfection, for everything, everyone. So she throws on a smile and puts on a mask of perfection, hoping that someday, that someone will look into her eyes and see the pain damaging her heart, open their arms wide and say, "It's okay to be imperfect."
Eric Chabon.
Hello everybody, I'm Eric Chabon. I wrote a short little poem called Ode to Twinkie. Heavenly golden cake, ooey, gooey, warm, filling, lost to our great large world, gone, but not for long. Tears were brought from this tragic event. Making their great comeback, they returned. Thank you.
I'm Sarah. I'm a freshman. And this poem is about my grandma. She died this past October. Okay. Shelves stored with books never read. Sorry, I lost my place. Shelves stored with books never read. Some from Grandma. She's long gone now. She's dead. In my head, I read every book, every page, to connect with her some way. Someday, every adult will treat kids like she did with me. A person with the mind and the time to learn and see, allowed to be here or there, doesn't matter where. Her laugh would resonate and make others smile when it took them a while to. Her hand, warm and old, molds to my skin. Her body, so thin but strong, not long before she's on her bed, not moving. It's the last few hours, and death has never towered over me like this. Huddled in her room, her scent filling it up, curled up on my side, I know she would want me to take pride looking into Challenge's eyes. Didn't know this then, only thinking it now, how hard it was, 'cause my cousin was in the other room. Soon, they all rush, hushed, no stars shine, I just want her to be mine, turn back time to that day on the beach. Each of us, only weeks before she stopped making sense. Silence was her friend, sleep was her end. On the bed now, hands clenched tight. I might be able to see you more if your eyes were clearer, nearer to me. Open, please. for me. You're on your back. My face feels as though it's been slapped, it's so red. Everyone's gathered now by you, all for you, even though you say no one loves you. But you're our little dove, shoving sincerity in our eyes. No matter the cries, whoever dies in your time, you stay chill from pill to pill. You always look out at the birds and point out which ones you've heard. Your life means more to me than you know. That's it, rah-rah. No more blah blah or psycho ta-ta. Although you claim you were, it doesn't matter. Just the pitter-patter cold gets more bitter as it creeps to your hands. Still warm, I tell you. Even the suns, your suns, too strong to show emotion, take it motion by motion, frame by frame, it's no different. All the same feelings. You lay there stiff. It's difficult being here while you're who knows where. I don't care about your body, like you always do, like I always do. You're not here anymore. You're somewhere else. You're down the road, a ways away, but now I've got your books on my shelf.
You guys hear me? Yeah. This is called beads. I don't wear jewelry. No gold chains, no diamond rings, no bracelets. But occasionally, I wear beads. Beads around my neck, beads around my face, clear, transparent beads, beads with a salty taste like tears but pouring from my pores and not my eyes. These are my speaking beads, my debate beads, my speech beads, my read aloud beads, my heartbeat races, chases away any sense of calmness. Carbon, when under intense heat and pressure, forms diamonds. But these same conditions only crush my throat in words. My body burns up while my mind freezes. Whenever I wear my speaking beads, I always hope that there's someone nearby who knows the Hamlet maneuver. Not because I'm fazed by its warning label written in invisible ink reading caution, small parts, for ages 5 and up. No, I'm too old for that. It's because I'm choking on my own thoughts. Thank you.
You read back? I hate this thing. This poem is called A Dark-Looking Man. The sun is setting. Your field is unfertilized, unsoiled. It has nothing to it. The sun crawls slowly behind the mountain. It's no longer watching over you. And questioning, is my guardian angel too? It's moved on. It's still great, it's still strong, but it knows what's on the other side of the mountain. I don't. For me, I only have what's around me. I only have what I know. A dark-looking man walks down from the shadows of the mountain. The wind from the other side blows, the streams from the other side flow in his direction. All but stays on the other side. He seems to not care about the deadly hike, the dehydration. He came this far. His eyes, red and dark, like blood of a dead man. His arms, legs, all bony. Barely skin, nothing more than what he uses to cover himself from the smallest bit of cold. His heart is blacker than the ominous clouds that are coming behind you. He gives you his hand, tells you to come, tells you there's opportunity. You must trust me, you must understand me. That you will spend the rest of your life with me and you will remember me. You may come back over to your side, but you'll remember me. As the clouds come, you put your hand to him, and he grabs it, but his hand is colder than the winter rain.
Okay, so this is called Walls. They are the guardians, protecting us, giving us a place to belong. They are the dictators, nurturing hate and bestowing prejudice in our hearts, caging us like bees. They are the cracks that we emphasize like rouge and conceal with lotion. With our art, pens, and voices, they are the rigid walls of the pyramid, the structure that has existed since the beginning, dominating our society. They are what makes us unique, but different. They are us and them. They are the lines we draw, the lines that are so ingrained into our society that they are natural. They are the lines we cannot cross.
And I'm 17. And this is on writing poetry. Dear my 16-year-old self, when they sext you at 3 a.m., please ignore them. They are just horny boys trying to get in your pants. When he says he loves you, while gently stroking your hair and kissing your swollen lips that the other boys gave you, do not run away to the other boys. Run straight into his open arms and drown your sorrows into his t-shirt. Tell him how all you write about is him. Dear my 16-year-old self, when your father raises his voice and you stop breathing to accept the hit, but instead are met with tears of love and disappointment, do not bite back. Kneel down and tell him stories of how you miss her too. Tell him about all the poems you left at her grave, but do not show him any. Dear my 16-year-old self, when the girl you thought was your best friend kneels down for the boy you love, do not hold back. Don't you dare go into the other room to cry. Put her in her place. Tell the girl how you thought friendship meant staying away from the boys the other one loved, for you had never laid a hand on hers. Tell him how the cold person you were becoming was caused by how you threw your heart into his hands and he laughed and threw it out the window. Do not apologize for being as good as her. There is no competition. Is she writing about him too? Dear my 16-year-old self, when he starts putting the blame on you and you defend yourself to your very last breath, but all he does is push you away, do not stand down. He caused this. You do not owe him anything. When you hook up with a cute boy during summer school while he is away, do not tell him about it. Do not try to show him how better off you are when he is away. Just keep it to yourself. Tell him how much you love him and miss him, and then go to bed. When he surprises you by coming home early, do not freak out. Do not ignore him. Just kiss his dumb face and tell him how glad you are that he is home. But when he cuts you off and throws you away like a piece of trash, without a second glance, do not write poetry about him. He is not worth your words. They are not worth your words. Do not write poetry. Best regards, Julia.
Here we go. I have a little part in Spanish that I will try to translate. It's not you, it is me. The belief in a world where love and peace is the most essential part of it. It's not you, it is me. That rather be paid to smile, that be paid with money that can only buy emptiness. It's not you, it is me. That wants to feed the ones that cannot feed themselves, because we live in an unfair world. It's not you, it is me. That love the differences that make ourselves special, because it is who we are. It's not you, it is me. That rather suffer with the truth, that suffer with the lies that are told to gain the happiness. It's not you, it is me. That believe that there is hope when the truth comes from the heart of an innocent child. A child that can change the way we love and being honest, pure, and loyal to others. No eres tú, soy yo, que sueña con unidad de las razas, la sociedad y del corazón. Pues es nuestro trabajo crear un mejor mañana donde el amor y la paz sea infinito. It's not you, it is me, that dreams with the unity of races, society, and of the hearts. After all, it's our job to create a better tomorrow where love and peace is endless.
How many of you are familiar with The Wizard of Oz? Okay. Then I'll read this one. poem is called Dorothy Blames Toto for Everything. You always made me nervous. Running off to maim chickens to nip at Miss Gulch. Since the twister, just hearing your bark makes me see legs under the house. Makes me feel the leathery breath of monkey wings. My next dog will be fat and white and slow, a face licker who will sit and stay, who won't chase bicycles or find odd men in the woods. I'm finished with bat-faced terriers and all that garbage about rainbows. Come, down, bad dog. You ripped back the curtain for good. Now I will never leave Kansas and will never marry. I can see only what parts of men are missing and how much I'd have to go through, Toto, to make them whole.
Up next, Devin Ruskinoff. Woo!
You think of a dream as an island in an emerald sea. You swim towards it, always reaching it, but always thinking you didn't. And then you remembered.
Hey guys, this is dedicated to the Japanese tsunami in 2011. Okay. I try to imagine a huge wave taking away homes, flushing them away, in the process taking away lives of thousands. I try to imagine how they felt, how they stayed alive even after everyone else had passed away. But you and I can't imagine how they felt. How would you feel if someone came and destroyed your home and your life? So many dreams died, their futures crumbling to dust, but their families will never die, thinking what they thought, doing what they did. Even though their futures ended that day, many more will come to live again. Thank
you. Jack Armand. Is he here? No, okay, give me Karun Mahadavan. Is he here? Alright, Pedro Caleo.
Hi, I'm Pedro, freshman. Also, this is about religion, so don't get offended or something. It's called Why Do We Need God? Why do we need God? Is this world not already great without God? Can you not enjoy how this wonderful world works? The wonders of a sun whose light is all we actually see and gives energy to all we are. Can't the wonders of humanity be attributed to those who achieve them? Don't thank God. We don't need God. What is the point of obsessing over what comes after life? Life is great. Life is all there needs to be. Life is filled with wonders so terrible and so great. What use is thinking of why and who when we have not yet discovered all the hows and whats? Don't look to the skies for gods and deities. Look to the skies for the stars, the planets. Feel the awe of realizing the scope of the forces of the universe. The forces that allow you to be here to feel such awe. Why would we ever need God when there are more things in this heaven, not to mention this entire universe of ours, that can never be dreamt of in these convoluted philosophies of man? So no, while some may want God, we don't need God.
Okay, my name is Kobe Giletti, for those of you who do not know. And I'm a freshman. Alright. This poem is called Not Now. Beep, 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 beep. Nobody likes this machine, yet everyone has it. All it's asking for is to get hit and smacked around on your bedroom floor. It's the early bird in your life instead of your wife, who of course stays asleep. It's the brilliant idea that helps you get to school before you acquire some fuel. Just remember, it's that awful high-pitched scream that sounds like your grandma trying to call for you. However much you hate it though, it is your favorite machine.
Jessica Newman.
Dear man, happy as you? Dear man, happy as you? These tragic ways all to keep breath, says a falling angel. And now the root to trust is it? But his thoughts he have dared and crushed with kindred infatuation, an appetite loved is an appetite lost, like the passionate moon we lightly soothe. How compassionate is at best, alluring, from blind to blind, splendor daughter's world dies. In the night, like young children blowing out candles. Fancy names make lost feelings not. As dogs lie, and as coarse folds all around good make out. Thus for Romeo, never thee a true predestined husband. By and by, as sun to moon, the forever of time is the lock, as hidden is and as hidden will be, is the face of sex.
Ning Duan.
Hi, I'm Ning. So I wrote a poem for this photo, but I'm sorry it's too small for you to see it. So anyway, the poem named Subsist. In this white world, the crimson blood is quite attracting. Yes, that's death. Clearly, the strong bear is in the contrast with the dead one. An adult male feeds on the body of a yearling cub she has killed, it says. I just cannot believe it. Polar bears are cute animals. People are advanced animals. We are all animals. Will we? Can us crew as the polar bear? Oh no. That will be the start of nightmare.
Kian Sakitop.
So, I wrote this poem about a friendship that I had with someone. It's called Accept. So, accept, do it. Move on, not if you don't learn to accept. Life, it's tough. Accepting, one less burden. Moving on, one less burden. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, done? Sad? No, done. Accept. Move on. One less burden.
My name is Milo Schieber. Alright. My time has come. My hour is done. My life shall soon be finished, be gone. My heart's still beating, my monitor's still beeping. Day in and day out, my memory is slipping and seeping away. My life is fading, my soul is shading, dying out within me, regretless.
Bertina Ziu. I don't
Okay. So, especially fellow freshmen, you may have read a poem in English class called Fear by Raymond Carver, and this is an emulation of that poem. And it is called Courage. Courage in the first steps you take. Courage in the first time you ride a bike. Courage on the first day of school. Courage in making friends. Courage in learning. Courage in trying that weird seafood dish. Courage in seeing the scary dinosaur exhibit. Courage in being on stage for your school play. Courage in saying thank you. Courage in saying I'm sorry. Courage in admitting you're wrong and accepting the consequences. Courage in telling someone your secret and trusting them to keep it. Courage in playing your first soccer game. Courage in losing your first soccer game and crying about it. Courage in growing up. Courage in moving to someplace out of the country. Courage in knowing you're changing and letting it happen. Courage in falling in love. Courage in standing up for a stranger. Courage in standing up for yourself. Courage in asking questions. Courage in staying silent. Courage in knowing that you will someday die. Courage in saying goodbye. Courage in knowing that you will someday die. I've said that.
Hi, I'm Ethan Rubinoff. I'm a senior. This is actually kind of funny. I just said, do you think there's a chance I'll be able to just get up there and read a poem? So, this is actually a song I wrote about 2 years ago, and it's called Sailor. An old sailor stands upon a beach. He knows the shore is just right out of reach. He's full of love, but he lacks someone to teach, and he sails upon the waves away. But never has he told you, and never has he said, the subtleties and differences between seeing things and dreams. And lacking inspiration and foresight far and wide, he drifts into the sunset, accepting his own tide. The man is old, his face unshaved and gray, the salty air in lines upon his face, the kindest man to live upon the fray. He flew too high, and now he has to pay. But he forgot to tell you, because he never heard you say, why it's he that has to suffer, and you that sails away. For he should rule the ocean, and you should sweep the deck, for the change in wind is permanent, with you upon the deck. Thank you.
I'm Eli. I'm a freshman, and I'm in Miss Dragoo's class. Winter. It's cold, it's brutal, but always fun. Every now and then I like to make a pun. You go outside to seek some fun, but your nose starts to run. Snowflakes gently fall onto your nose. Your mom takes a picture of you for the first time with snow. So you slowly start to pose. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. It's winter.
Can we get a big enthusiastic round of applause for Miss Whitebone and Miss Cohen?
First ladies of poetry.
Thank you so much for saving poetry. This was wonderful, amazing. 19 years of poetry. Next year is the 20th. Thank you to the Brookline Booksmith for hosting us every single year, and to the BHS PTO for funding every great poet that we've had, including each and every one of you, and all of this amazing energy. Miss Cohen.
Check out, we should have an article in the Boston Globe. I don't know when, but they were here for a long time. I was saving that for last, and most especially, really, we're going to have an article in the Sagamore. Finally, it took us 19 years. Thank you, everybody, and anybody who wants to stay behind and help us put chairs away and clean up, we would greatly appreciate it. It's all up to us.